Hey guys, we're getting all set up and we'll start in 4 minutes. Let me know if you can hear me. Sound was good for the previous class. Had a little catastrophe, but it seemed to work out fine toward the end. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So we'll be doing lesson one of book number one, and we come around to this lesson quite often. And if you've done it 27 times, it's going to be very boring. And if you're brand new, this will be a new way of playing guitar for you. Hopefully, get back to where it is in my sheet music, and we will be starting in 2 minutes. Yeah, probably, huh? All right, 1 minute, and we're going to get going. All right, 5:45. My name is Gary Ugart. I am a guitar teacher in Denver, Colorado. I have a 3-level program to get people playing fingerstyle guitar from knowing nothing. And so that's what we want to work on today is get you from knowing nothing up to the first level, and that's playing tablature. And in fingerstyle guitar or in classical guitar or in certain other melodic forms of guitar, we play from tablature almost always. Classical guitar usually uses standard notation, but not always. And so once you learn this system, once you learn how to read tablature, and once you learn how to hold the guitar and tune the guitar and play from music that makes sense, you'll be able to play anything you want to. And so the website is denverguitarorchestra.com, and from there you should be able to read about the program, find out what's going on this week, next week, the week after that, and also, see a progression of how you can become a really fine guitar player without necessarily knowing a ton about music. I also think it's important that you should know there's lots and lots of guitar, how to do guitar stuff out there. All of it is generally speaking designed for a specific style of guitar, not all of it, but in the beginning, all guitars still have to know some very basic things: how to hold the guitar, how to tune the guitar, and finally how to get your first melody out, how to get your first chords out. And so the level one program for the Denver Guitar Orchestra is designed to do just that: get you tuned, get you holding the guitar right, get you playing from tablature, playing a melody from tablature, and getting you where you know your four most important chords in guitar. And so that's what we're starting on today. This is assumes nothing in terms of your musical ability or your guitar ability. And so let's dig in. Uh, uh, why would you listen to me? Because I'm a pretty good teacher. Okay, not the greatest guitarist by a long shot, but I do know I do know how to get you to where you're the best guitarist that you can be, probably. All right, so now first things first, we got to make sure the guitar is tuned. When you walk into my class in real life, that's what I do is I tune your guitar up for you. And a lot of times your guitar has been sitting under the bed for 20 years, and you're like, I changed the strings back when I got this, and then so they're 20-year-old strings. So do yourself a favor, if your strings are more than a year old, go get them changed. Take them to the guitar shop and have them changed. Or of course you can buy guitar strings online. I always recommend the Savara's guitar strings for if you have plastic strings on it. I think they're really wonderful, and they're not expensive. And then usually for metal string guitars, I put the Martin. It's called phosphor bronze, and I usually put either 11 or 11 and a half. That's how they grade it, is by the smallest string. So if you got a metal string guitar, I like the Martin ones that are phosphor bronze, either 11. If you are, if you're have sort of smaller, let's use the word weaker hands, newer player, use 11s. If you're kind of a bigger guy or a little bit stronger hands, a little bit more experience in guitar, use the 11 and a halves. Okay, they make them way heavier than that. I don't see any reason to do that unless you are a professional player and you really need to hammer your guitar to get a lot of sound out of it. Outside of that, fingerstyle, we just don't need to do that. We have amplifiers if we need to be loud, and what we're looking for is really good quality tone. All right, so that's the strings. You definitely want to have strings that are less than 50 years old on your guitar, so less than 1 year is what we like. Second thing you need to do is you need to go buy one of these. This is a Snark. It's called a Super Tight HZ. This, at the moment, is the very best tuner that is made. It's got a high definition screen and an ultra sophisticated computer in here. It costs about $18 in Amazon, give or take, depending on the day. And this is what you want to own. All the other tuners and tuning methods that you can have are inferior to this one. The tuner that came free with the guitar that you bought at Guitar Center, it's not accurate, and it's going to break, and it's going to go through batteries like crazy. So get rid of it as soon as possible and get one of these. The second thing is you probably want to go ahead and download a tuner onto your phone. And the tuning, I'm on Android, and I use a tuner called G Strings because I thought that was funny. But they're all more or less the same. You should know that the tuners that you can download on your phone are fine, except that they aren't accurate, and they don't work if it's real noisy. So if a dog barks down the street, it throws the tuner off. And so you want to think about whether that's worth your time to even do it that way. I use my tuner on my phone in an emergency when I have absolutely forgot my tuner, which happens from time to time. But it's not something that I recommend or use often. The tone, how you tune your guitar is, and this is the phrase that pays. I make all of my students memorize this: Eddie, hate, dynamite, good, bye, Eddie. Again, Eddie, hate, dynamite, good, bye, Eddie. And in the book that I have at the studio, if you live in Denver, you can come by and pick up this book. I have a whole page dedicated to tuning the guitar in 3 different ways, and to really get you thinking about, hey, I'm not going to sound good if I don't tune my guitar properly. And in order to tune your guitar properly, that means you tune it every single time you play. So let's make it easy on you. Let's make it fast. Get a decent tuner. Get this where this is memorized, and so that you can do it very quickly. The other thing to think about when you're tuning is, especially if you're using your phone as a tuner, you want to go through and double check the relative tuning. And again, this is on the tuning page in my book, but you'll find this everywhere online as well. You go to 6th string. The strings are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is on the top. So if you go to the 6th string and the 5th fret, frets are numbered 1 down, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. fret number 5 usually has a dot on it, and I had this guitar set up without dots, but yours will probably have a dot on 5. It'll probably have a dot on 7. It'll probably have a dot on 9, and then it might have a dot on 12, or sometimes they have a fancy dot on 12. Go to 5 on the 6th string, and it should sound the same if you hold it down. It should sound the same as the string below it. Okay, same thing with the 5th string. 5th string and 5th fret sounds the same as the one below it. Okay. 4th string sounds the same as the one below it. When you get to the 3rd string, you have to remember you go to the 4th fret. It's not the same, so I'm going to tune this up just a little bit. Okay. And then the 5th fret on the last 2nd string to get to the last one. My two light strings were a little off. Now I should sound better. Let's see if C chord. That's pretty nice. Okay. Should you buy electric? Should you buy an electric guitar? Should you buy a metal string guitar? Should you buy a plastic string guitar? Yes, is the answer to that. You should buy all the guitars, but you only need one, and I recommend the one you need is the one in your hand. Okay, here's what I find with people that they're thinking, I got to buy a guitar in order to sound good. You don't. You need to get good at whatever guitar you have. The guitar you have is not the best guitar you're ever going to own. Probably once you get where you're playing well, you're probably going to go out and buy a better guitar. But for now, the one you have is fine. I would suggest a couple of things. You really do want to learn on an acoustic guitar because this has more limitations in terms of what it can and can't do, where an electric guitar is actually a little easier to play and can do a whole lot more things. Stuff that's going to turn you down a side road where you'll spend all of your time doing goofy stuff on electric guitar and not really learning how to play guitar. And so the electric guitar has, it's way fun. Let's put it that way. But in terms of being able to play like a grown-up, where you play a beautiful melody, some nice chords in a meaningful way, down in your basement, that's how adults play, that you really want to have an acoustic guitar as well. Nothing wrong with owning an electric guitar, and my God, they're a lot of fun. But it's generally speaking, it'll send you down a different pathway, which is not a bad pathway. It's just you end up out in the weeds. So you've got your guitar, you've got your classic, you've got your whatever. Hopefully it's acoustic. And you now know the strings are numbered 6. 6 strings are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 is closest to your face. It's kind of the opposite of what you want it to be. 1 is farthest from your face. Fret numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You have at least 12 frets. Usually there's 12. They either have 12 frets to the body. This is the body. You'll have the 12th fret will be right at the body. Occasionally it's 14 frets. So then in other words, there would be 2 more frets here, and this would be 14. So just know which guitar you have, either a 12 fret or a 14 frets to the body. And there's no difference between the two. It's just that one has a little bit longer neck, so that you can play this note a little more easily. You don't need to play that note anyway. All right. Guitar posture is the next thing we should talk about very briefly. When you start playing guitar, it is entirely possible that you're going to play guitar like you see it played on television or on YouTube, which is you're going to see them play it sideways. They're going to see a big old thumb up here. You're going to see these crazy cramped shapes here, and you're going to think that that's how you're supposed to play guitar. This is not even close to the best way to play it. However, if you end up playing it this way, that's on you. You can absolutely learn to play guitar this way. It just is not the easiest and not the best. What I want you to do is I want you to pick this guitar up so that this is at about a 60-degree angle, right, between my body and the fretboard. Pretty steep angle here. Okay, the further down it gets, the harder it's going to be. The closer to your face. This is uncomfortably close to my nose right here. That's the 3rd fret. My nose should be like, whoa, Okay, that's where I want your neck to be. This is the guitar neck, if I haven't mentioned it. Fretboard on top of the neck. Okay, um, and I want you to play it between your legs. Okay? And it's super awkward and very uncomfortable when you first meet that position because you've never let your legs be that far apart with a guitar in between them, and it seems like the wrong thing to do. And I get it. Okay, but here's why. When you get when they call you, when Warner Brothers Records calls you and says, hey, we love your guitar playing, we need to send you on the road and we want you to tour all of these famous outdoor amphitheaters, and we have tens of thousands of players, audience members that have purchased tickets at $85 a piece to come see you, you're going to be standing up with your guitar at a microphone. And that's if you go onto American Idol, if you go on to Red Rocks, if you go up to whatever arena is in your neighborhood, you're going to be standing up at a microphone with your guitar like this. And when you stand up, your guitar magically goes into this position. So doesn't it make sense, if you're going to sit down to practice, that you would leave the guitar in this position, you would find to sit on the edge of a chair and let your guitar drop down between your legs? It just makes sense that, hey, I'm going to practice my guitar in exactly the same way that I'm going to play it when I am famous. Okay, and so that's why we talk about posture a lot. It's a big deal in guitar, and some of the other instruments maybe not quite as much of an issue, but in guitar it's a big deal because you make your life so much harder by playing it in the wrong posture. And so this is what we're going to be looking at. We want this at a steep angle. We want this between our legs. We want everything here. I will tell you that in my experience in teaching a lot of students now, most of you are playing too large of a guitar. Most of you go to Guitar Center and they sell you the big guitar because it sounds the best in your price range. But most of the time, you're probably playing a full size, either concert size or dreadnought or one of these giant guitars. And you really don't need to do that to learn. You really don't need to have a gigantic guitar. I have a parlor size guitar. It's about 7/8, a little bit between 3/4 and 7/8 size. It is my main guitar that I love to play because it's easy to hold, it's easy to work on. I get to learn all of my stuff here. And then when I'm ready to do something fancy and go out and really show what I can do, I take the bigger guitar. Okay? But if you are practicing for a performance, to enter into school or whatever you're doing, you might want to be working on the guitar that you are pretty sure you're going to use to pass to be in that performance or to get into school or whatever. But for the most part, if you're just sitting around in the house practicing, you don't really need to use any guitar in particular. And the right guitar is the one that's easiest to hold on to. Okay. All right. So that's guitar posture. We'll talk a lot more about thumb. This is one of those things that I see happening all over the place that really gets in people's way and makes them slow down as a guitarist. All right, let's talk about Brother John. That's your sheet music for today. You should have gotten a copy of it off of denverguitarorchestra.com. And this piece of music is not the greatest song ever written, but pretty close. And the reason why is there's only going to use one chord, so that we have to learn just one chord. And then we're going to learn how to strum it. We're going to learn how to sing it. We're going to learn how to pluck it. And then I'm going to give you a brief overview of how you would bring all of those pieces together at once. Okay. And everything in the program that I teach is designed to do just that. Get you, if you want to sing and strum, it'll teach you there's about 20, 25 chords you really have to know as a guitar player. And it'll teach you those. And then it will also teach you how to move those chords up and down around the fretboard. The other thing that this course will do is teach you how to pluck a melody. Okay, that way you don't have to sing. Sound does not need to come out of your mouth. For most guitar players that I meet, sound should not be coming out of their face. They're pretty good at playing guitar. They're not so great at singing. Okay, if you see somebody who's a great singer and they have a guitar in front of you, if you watch, they're almost always using a very simplified chord form over here because they don't need to have anything fancy here. The fanciness is in their oral presentation. They're using the guitar as backup. But in fingerstyle and in classical guitar, the guitar is it. That's it. We're not going to be singing along to stuff. But I teach you both so that whatever pathway you want to end up going down, you can do. Now, let's talk about with Brother John, the first thing is an E chord, and that's the second best chord on guitar. You're going to put your index finger first fret, that's this space right here, on the third string. Okay, so the first string, second string, third string. That's where your index finger goes. The next place, you're going to use your middle finger. It's going to go on the fifth string at the second fret. Okay, and then the last one is your ring finger. It's going to go right underneath, fourth string, second fret. Okay, that's an E chord. Okay. Notice my thumb is hiding out back here, and that's where your thumb should be hiding. It should be, the pad of your thumb should be on the back of the neck. I should never see your thumb out in front. There is a time on an electric guitar where you might need to bring your thumb over the top, but there is no other time in guitar where you're required to use your thumb. And so just know that if your thumb is way up here, you're just not paying attention. It doesn't need to be up there. Okay. Second thing that we're going to be looking at after we get that on is that the thumb is hanging out right behind your middle finger always. Wherever your middle finger is, your thumb is hanging out behind that. Okay, so that's where we're at. Okay, so that's pretty good form. Okay, other form that I'm noticing is that this arm should be nice and straight as much as possible. So, you'll notice when I play, I have a tendency to do a little bit of this, get a little chicken wingy. Okay, we don't want that. We want just this to be. How you would know is if you just dropped your hand straight down, it would just drop down. Okay, so that's what we want. And then with the E chord, we can play all of the strings. Okay. It's not typical on guitar to play every single string, but with E chord you can. Okay. Now, when we look at the sheet music, let's talk very briefly about sheet music because it comes up as a discussion item sometimes. You will meet great guitar players who don't read sheet music. You will meet them. They are amazing. They have incredible ears. They've been at it for their many years. They're just absolutely dynamite players. That's probably not you, and so you should probably get comfy with sheet music. Learning to read sheet music will not make you a bad guitar player. It won't. Okay, it's one more thing that we get to do as musicians is join a long history of great guitar players who do read music. And yeah, there are guitarists out there who don't use it. I don't know why. Okay, it will magically limit the complexity and the top level that you can play at if you don't read sheet music. So I teach it to you from the beginning, and I think it's one of those things that you can use to your advantage when you're new, and of course once you get it, then you can play with super sophisticated advanced pieces of music that typically you don't hear players who don't read sheet music playing. Okay, all right, so I'm not judging. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but you should learn to read sheet music. Why not? What the heck? It's not going to make you dumber. It's not going to make you a worse guitar player. All right. On your piece of music, you have the song Frere Jacques and Brother John. It's the same song. And we're going to play it twice. The way we play it today and the way we play it next week will be in different keys. Okay. The way we're learning to play it today is designed to teach you how to read the sheet music and how to pick your frets correctly. Okay. How do you know which finger to use on which frets? Okay. Prior to that, we were going to look at, hey, we've got this song, we got this one chord. We need to learn how sheet music works in the first place. There's going to be 4 beats in every measure on your sheet music. So a measure is those vertical lines, and every vertical line adds up to 4 beats. So you got Frere Jacques, and then you got a vertical line, Frere Jacques, and then a vertical line, Dormez-vous, beat, Dormez-vous, beat, Sonnez les matines. So that's 4 beats. There's more notes than that, but just 4 beats. And then and at the end, ding, dang, dong, beat, ding, dang, dong, beat. So the number of notes in the measure is not dependent on 4, but the number of beats is dependent on 4. So that's what you want to be thinking about when we're strumming this. Okay. If you're brand new, this is how I want you to strum. Take your thumb, go down. 1, 2, 3. 4. If you are been around a while and you want to make it fancier, take your index finger, face of your fingernail going down, and then your pad coming up. So you get down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, up. Okay, if you've been around even longer than that, let's talk about using your claw. This becomes the most important thing for a fingerstyle player is getting comfy with the claw. Thumb, index, middle ring, pluck, 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 pluck. Notice mostly this strum is from your knuckles. Okay, a little bit of a back up on the hand, but not much. And certainly nothing going on my wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you're even beyond that level, right, then you want to be thinking about doing arpeggio picking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sing the song, and I'm not a singer, so you please close your ears. But we're going to just practice whatever strum pattern you want to do. Okay, there's no right strum pattern out there. There's lots of guitar player videos out there where they tell you what the correct strum pattern is. It's just their idea of what's correct. There's no correct answer. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. Change your strum pattern. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. One more time. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonnez les matines, sonnez les matines, ding, dang, dong, ding, dang, dong. Okay. So that's right hand technique. You're trying to do different things with your right hand to make yourself sound more sophisticated, and that's what we're doing with your right hand there. The whole time holding just one chord. Okay, and we got to get E chord memorized where it's part of who you are. You don't have to think about it. E chord, boom, it's on. Right? That's get it right. So that's what we want to do. Okay. Now, hard part of today's lesson is reading tablature. And this is why you come to hang out with Gary, is I am passionate about Frère Jacques, or Brother John, when it comes to learning this one thing that we have to do that will open up the entire world of music to you, where there is every single song out there that's worth playing is already written in tablature, and you can go get it and you can sit down and you can pluck it out without having any ability to read any music whatsoever. And so you just have to be a little bit adventurous as you wander the internet looking for tablature, and you will almost always find the song that you're looking for. Okay, here's how it works. On the tablature, the numbers are on the top line. Okay, so you're looking at guitar melody on your sheet music, and you'll see on there 0240, 0240, 457, 457, and then it continues on. You'll notice that the numbers are on the top, and you'll also notice there's 6 lines. So those 6 lines are physically actually the strings on your guitar. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your string number 1 is on the bottom, but it's on the top of the paper. It's really kind of annoying, a little bit awkward and complicated in the beginning to get used to that, but it will. Your brain will figure it out eventually. Okay, so you're going to be doing open on that first string, and then you're going to play a 2, middle, and then a 4 with pinky, and then open. Oh, 2, 4, oh, open, middle, pinky, open, open, middle, pinky, open, open, middle, pinky, open. Oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh. I would do it 100 times. I'd do it 1,000 times, right? Just to get your hands with it. Just memorize that. If you want to get fancy, you can instead of using your thumb down here, you can try index and middle. open, middle, pinky, open, open, middle, pinky, open, open, middle, pinky, open, middle, pinky, open, open, middle, pinky, open. Okay, that not necessarily required, but it is something that we'll be working on for the rest of your career, is trying to get the some sort of mental control over these guys to do their own thing. That's where we begin. Next two measures, dormez-vous, or brother John, it's 4, 5, 7. So we're going to slide all the way up here, index finger, 4, 5, 7, index, middle, pinky, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, index, middle, pinky, index, middle, pinky. That's how we're doing that. Okay. So if we put those two together, we're going to play two of each. Okay. So we're going to play 0, 2, 4, 0, then 0, 2, 4, 0 again, then 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7. Okay, that's the first line of the song. That's plenty right there. That seems like, man, my brain is hurting. Okay. Next two measures are the hard measures. Okay. 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, 0. But we're going to play them at half the speed, so we'll get time to get it right. And then when we're at home, while you're working on this, you'll go take it home and work on getting this part up to speed. So start with your ring finger on 7. And notice on your sheet music, I went ahead and gave you fingering for it. R is ring, middle is middle, obviously I is your pointer finger, and open is open. Okay. Do you have any P's? Yeah, we have some P's for pinkies. Okay, so on this one, measure 5, you're going to start with 7 on your ring, pinky on 9, back to 7 on the ring, middle on 5, index on 4, and then open. Again, ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, open again, ring, pinky, ring, middle, index, open, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, open, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, open. Okay, that's measure 6 and 7. I'm sorry, 5 and 6. And then the last part is very exciting because we get to use the second string. We're going to play first string open, and then notice on your tablature, there's a 0 on the second string. We're going to hit that open, and then a first string. Okay, first string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string, and again, be working on whether you want to use your thumb or index, middle, and index. Okay, so the idea there is different levels of sophistication, right? One is what we're doing to learn how to play guitar. This one's what we're learning to get better at guitar. Okay. All right. So let's play the whole thing. We're going to go real slow through 5 and 6. We're playing those at half speed right now, so that when you go home tonight, you can work on. Well, you're already at home. When you get time, you're going to work at speeding that part up. Okay. So from the top, very slow. 1, 2, ready, play. Oh, 2, 4, oh, oh, 2, 4, oh, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, 7, 9, 7, 5, 4, oh, first string, second string, first string, first string, second string, first string, and then let the guitar ring. Don't let it shut off on it. Just let it ring out. Okay, that's what your plan is. Your plan is to play through the whole thing twice. Okay, on the website denverguitarorchestra.com, on the sheet music page, I have a video that I did of this song so that you can watch and see how you compare, and you can play along with me at full speed. Right now, the problem that with the way we've been playing is measures 5 and 6 are supposed to be twice as fast as they are. So let me play that for you real quick so you can see what your goal is. By the way, when you need to play something real fast, it's better to play everything else real slow so that you got a fighting chance of playing the fast part correctly. Okay, so here's how this would go at full speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you want to play it. Okay, that's at full speed. I don't know if you can hear my cat in the background. He's complaining about me playing. He's sick of this song. He's heard it before. All right, so that's what your sheet music is. When you're new to guitar, when you're new to fingerstyle, if you can get the E chord straight and get the individual notes coming out of your guitar properly, that's a huge step in the right direction. Really, that's, except for a couple of other skills, that's really the super important main ones, right? I do want to mention very briefly, on your papers there's a line called Tough Axe, and that's actually the fingerstyle arrangement. What I don't expect when you're new is that you could ever play that. What I do like to do is play it so you can hear what it sounds like, see where you're headed, and see if playing a full arrangement with chords and melody together at the same time is going to sound nice to you. And if that's a goal that you want to play that way, you'll notice I'm not going to sing. You've heard me sing. It's not good. Okay, and so we're going to play this in fingerstyle fashion, which I'm going to take that E chord, I'm going to take that melody, I'm going to smash it all together, and then I'm going to add a few decorative notes, and you'll see how that works out. Again, don't expect new players to play this. Just expect them to think, man, maybe I'd like to be able to do that someday. Okay, let's see if I can do this first time through. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Okay, let me do it one more time just so you can hear what's going on. I'll try to talk a little bit about what I'm doing. So the first thing is I'm grabbing, here's the E chord, but I'm not going to play these upper strings, so I don't need to hold them down. I'm going to use those fingers for other activities. Okay, I'm going to have what's left of my E chord is that one note. Okay, and then I'm going to use probably ring and pinky instead of middle and pinky, because I'm stretching, right? And so I'm going to try to do this to get the chord melody going. Okay, so that's the first measure. Add your ring, add your pinky, add your ring, pinky. And the next part, I'm going to jump up, grab a 4, 4 and a 4 and a 5. So it's 4, 5, 4. Add my pinky to get the 5, 5. So now it's 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5. Slide this up to 7, so now it's 4, 5, 7. And then I have 2 decorative notes there, 5 and 4. I'm already holding those down, so I don't got to change anything. And then so measure 4 sounds. Okay. And then at measure 5, that's where things get kind of hectic, right? 7, 9, 7, 5. And then I'm lifting up my middle finger here. Again, I'm putting the E chord, I've moved it up, and so I'm having to choose different fingerings to create an E chord sound further up the neck. That's what on your sheet music at the top, there's an alternate E chord, and it's sitting right here on the 4th fret. And those 3 strings. It's an E chord. Okay, it's just way up the neck instead of this one. I'm playing this one. There's only 3 strings on that. And then at the end of it, I don't think I played it exactly the way I wrote it, but what I meant to play was, I meant to play. And if I go to the second ending, which is measure 9, if I come through the second time, I'm going to skip measure 8 and play measure 9. I get. Big finish. Okay, so that gives you the main ways that we want you, that we who's we, that's why I would like for you to begin working on your guitar career. Get your E chord good and solid. Get where that thing just goes on, and it's you can do it in your sleep. Okay, take it off, put it back on. Take it off, put it back on. Okay? That's the way we learn how to get E chord on. Right? Making sure your guitar is in the proper position, right? Right now my back is hurting because I was getting in kind of bad posture. I was slumping down a little bit. Okay? So we want E chord to go well. We want your thumb in proper position, guitar in proper position. Know how to tune your guitar. And then we want to work on getting melody out of it. Okay? And then we're going to, not at this level, but at level 2, we're going to start putting those together as simultaneous things. So yes chords, yes melody, shove them together. I will show you what they are in each of the songs in level 1, but it's not an expectation for you to play them yet. It's just to know where you're headed. Okay, so that's it. I hope you guys learned a little bit. Hopefully they inspired you to get your guitar out and get to playing some more. And the last thing I always wrap up with on night 1 of guitar class is, how much should you practice? The answer is 6 hours a day for 5 years. But if you can't do that, I would start with 1 minute a day. The hard part of that is a day. It's very easy to sit down with your guitar for an hour or 2 and then have a few weeks get by on you, or possibly a few years, and that's not going to be effective. What we would like to do is sit down for short periods, maybe 5-10 minutes on it, but do it consistently on a daily basis. You will get better, you will get faster, you will get all of that stuff. Your hands need a daily practice to really get good. If you can only practice 2 or 3 times a week, then that's all you can do, but your goal is every day. When I work on my piano stuff, I got to go every day or it doesn't stick. Same thing with guitar, every day or it doesn't stick. Ukulele stuff, every day or it doesn't stick. And so you want to get that, just find a place in your schedule, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, at lunch hour, whatever, to squeeze in your 5 or 10 minutes of guitar. Today, your goal would be to play through Brother John a few times and get where you're sounding pretty good and feeling pretty confident. And then showing up over the next couple of days, maybe sitting in on some of the higher level lessons. I do a level 2 tomorrow and a level 3 on Friday, and then you just sit in on the lesson and see if you can pick up anything that you might be able to use right away. And some of it's too hard and some of it's super easy. So hopefully I'll see you guys down the road. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to end the stream and go practice. Have a great night, you guys.